Welcome, slow listeners. On Route 13, Jackson County, Illinois. Slow. S-L-O. Slow. 13. S-L-O. Slow. 13. Slow. Slow. S-L-O. There are no technical difficulties with slow.
There are
a
only
perfect show.
technical opportunities.
That's slow. Only technical opportunities. Is the transmitter still on? Is anybody even listening? Can anybody even hear us? Should we hear a poem? Nostalgia for a world where we can live. The Monday I first hear the body count, my father would have just turned 64. Rocking the baby to sleep, I wonder how I'd introduce them. This might be the year he's been my dead father as long as he was not. That I've lost track only occurs to me because my father loved that folksy Steve Goodman, City of New Orleans train song. I can't call up his voice, but remember the needle skimming vinyl, my father laying hands against the speaker. Remember the needle skimming vinyl. The record player, more cabinet than turntable, to hear it. 4 years before the body count, numbers scroll the bottom of the TV, the totaling dead change. By the hour, you, working a murder trial, don't know I can't turn away. From our upstairs bathroom, late at night, I watch the blur of bakers and a donut shop 1 block over. At this distance, the storefront lit up recalls a Hopper painting. But the Hoppers I love hold those women turning away in a bed or a chair, tugging the blinds. I watch everything fill with tolls. Each body piling up belonged to a name, or once longed or was held. That's true, right? Everybody's head once cupped in the palm of another. My friend In lived across from the donut shop, his willpower impressive. When I called him a holdover from another time, a throwback, I meant it as a compliment. I'm only thinking of this because In and his wife grew a vegetable garden shaped like a small boat. In the morning, everyone at work I walk the baby by in his stroller and imagine climbing aboard, setting us adrift, although I still can't swim. One of my mom's greatest disappointments might have been her children always afraid to get their faces wet, her watery grace stilted, standing shoreside, begging us to just touch our toes in the lake. My father made excuses, not wanting to leave his hearing aid on a towel. If my son ever asks, after my great disappointment, how to ensure he never thinks I was, how to hand him this world, what I meant about in was I hope to know him in other times. He remembers to hold the door open for others. He rises from his chair when his wife enters. He collects broken things and fixes them. He makes soup from bones.
Twilight's last gleaming. Millions of tons of American steel raging the tracks on some big metal wheels, moving a country about on a rail made by a man with a hammer and nails. I hear it beneath me in metallic wax, beating the sides of those hot iron tracks. The engine before me is kicking and steaming, riding the rails through till twilight's last gleaming. Here in the country the tracks all run wild. I walked upon them when I was a child. They ran for hundreds of miles at a time, taking us places to spend all our dimes. Some of the trains just run black loads of coal, some of them stone, some are just chemicals. Of all of the trains headed north, south, east, and west, I like the ones that move people the best. Out of the windows you see all the hills. America lies there with passionate chills. A beautiful land that spreads over the seas, carved into the scape as an enormous frieze. If you cannot find me, I'll be on the train, somewhere between San Diego and Maine, staring at darkening skies while I'm dreaming, riding the rails through till twilight's last gleaming.
Another morning, 8 a.m. or noon, alarm sounding furiously, kitten purring on my chest, claws out. Another day, another dollar, stimulus check, better get here soon. What to do with none of this energy? Which project to start, which book consume, how much is depression, how much is apathy, how long till our lives consume. Thankful for artists, for creature comforts, for love, also vacant. The things I own, background noise, people I can't take with me, things I've never actually owned. Chew it up, a little at a time. Small mouthfuls digest, small lungfuls oxygen hot. Same thing, different morning. Coronavirus or not.
I'm kicking the church in my driveway. These little stones are made of chalk and seed. Salty, dry. As dry as the wind. Pressing tonight. Falling waves. Cold tonight. As I consider just how wide I'm going. Because I need to let the cold air in. I want to feel the change of seasons so I can see the step. Feel the chirp. Dry sandstone. It's a little like the trees. Every time I kick one of the rocks down the driveway, it reminds me of the times I wake up. 4:15, 4:18, 4:22. It's usually about that time. I've had those sleep cycles, and then I stack the rocks and fill them up in the drawer, take one out of the driveway, bring it inside, put it in the drawer. By springtime, I empty it out, rake it flat, wait for the spring rain to wash it clean again. Sleep rocks.
They did just let it slow. Slow 13. You're listening to slow. The spirit is bone. From here, everything outside is invisible, all but the view, the belief, through the one open window. The room's partial tree, leafless, yet partial stone, hinged clouds drifting off, becoming other clouds in the other unseen sky, where the tree is finished. From here, one-sided mind is filling in. From here, the the recollections, the symmetries, the familiar forms vanish. Stars, tiny morning, into which the end of the tree disappears. And all that trouble, the remainder, the little piece which is utterly in want of the other side of likeness, the piece that goes missing, that remains the corpse of an absence, a thing itself, the ghost of a chance, from here begging the question. Litany for a table and of movable feasts. Stay for me, still life, ceaseless tree. Stay who stays the real, you root of mind, you constant moat, pruned shoot, sealed board, beam of sudden, come back for me, please. Would you say for me, last possible whole world, for would it me still possible to believe, for place stay put, for fruit and fool, for call against but, meal against fell, guest within the rule and will, you, all me, you, me, who promised me, who likened me, made fetish me, and grieved me, but pleasure? Me? Hunger me, overstander me, bored me, my act, stay for me, come back to flee the rest of me, to specter me, and put an end to me, to negative me through and through, for I consume too much of me, poor me, for my feel possible you.
Come closer. Come into this. Come closer. All the things that you have been building up over your heart, your eyes, throughout the days, the weeks, and the years. Set them down. Undress your vulnerability. Come into this. Come closer. You are quite the beauty. If no one has told you that before, know that right now, you are quite the beauty. There is joy in how your mouth dances with your teeth. Your smile is a sign of how sacred your life actually is. So step into it. Come closer. Know that God woke from his dreams and scraped the soil from the spaces inside of himself, and he made you, and he was happy. You make the Lord happy. Come closer. Know that something softer than us, but just as holy, planted the pieces of itself into our feet, that we might one day dance our way back. Know that you are almost home. Come a little closer. There are birds that beat their wings beneath your breastplate. Gentle sparrows that ache to sing, come aching hearts, come soldiers of joy, doormen of truth. Know that my heart was too big for my body, so I let it go. And most days this world is thin to me, to the point where I'm just another cloud, forgetting another flock of swans, having shaved off so many of my corners that I felt at home only in the shape of a ball, bending myself so far backwards that the song of my mother believed that I was returning home. Believe me when I tell you that somehow my soul still squeezes into narrow spaces. Place your hand beneath your head when you sleep tonight. Perhaps you will find me there, making beauty as we sleep, as we dream, as we turn over, when we turn over in the ground. May the spirit that we've asked our answers of do that turning, kneading us into crumbs of light and into this thing-love thing called life. Come into it. Come, you wooden museums, gentle tigers, little giants. I see teacups upside down glowing across your grin. Your hearts are like my hands. Some days, all they do is tremble. I am like you. I am just like you. I too am at times filled with so much fear. Like a hallway, we must find the strength to walk through it. Walk through this with me. This church of blood and bone and muscle is ours. There is a doorknob that glows like chance before you. Grab it, turn it, and pull. Step through, back straight, chin up, eyes open, hearts loud. Hearts loud. Walk through this with me. Walk through this with me. You and I are not so different. Every move our arms take, every breath we swallow is worship.
I am as old as the intentional flow of blood, older than the hammer striking copper or iron, as old as greed and hatred. It seems I have always been. I certainly always will be, as long as man has a breath in him. I was born the day he first picked up a stone or a stick with ill intent, but I grew. I evolved into something that would have been unimaginable the day I was born. I became a legend, a story. There was a time immemorial to us now, when I was so simple, uncomplicated. There was a time when I was merely a small and bloody mess. Tales of me fell on many ears, but only few had the experience of looking me straight in the eye. Even fewer who did it without fear. But today, I am a plague upon man in the land he calls home. Today, I am the destroyer of cities. Today, I am murder and injustice on a global scale. From the largest, most powerful governments, descending in group sizes unto the militias and gangs, I am always at the forefront of everyone's mind. The slightest misstep or misspeak, and I show the world entire just how nasty I can be. And sometimes, I don't let up for a century. I'm stick, stone, spear, bow, blade, gun, plane, tank, helicopter, jet, bullet, bomb, gas, and germ. I am the whistle of falling death. I am every corpse that litters the field and forest. I am war, and I am God.
Slow. S-L-O. Slow. 13. The lonely tomatillo plant grew a foot taller than me by August. Grew further to the sky, looking for a pollinator, a soul, another, and yet the lonely tomatillo plant had a planter who forgot you can't survive this world alone, even if you are 7 foot tall, a foot taller than the planter. No matter the sun or rain or water or food, I suppose we can't live alone. I walk to the bar alone and sober to see if there's anyone to talk to. But surprise, surprise, everyone is drunk and secluded into their own conversations. Empowered? I'm not sure. If I miss it, but I was tired of being home. It stinks in here. There's some dead band playing, and all drunks do is talk shit about their friends and themselves. She came to pick up the last of her stuff when she moved out 3 years ago. I made her food before she showed up. She denied it. I pretended to be okay, and I am. But that's what you have to do sometimes, is pretend and move forward. And this town has taken so much away from me, and I'm trying to gain back myself, or create a new sector of myself. I cried just now. The first time I cried, I think, since I was sober and calm.
There are times when you tried to contain it. You tried to put it in a box. Metal box. File the sides down. Smooth. You made a ready box so you could fill it all in. You know those little round edges where it just spills over? That's that tension thing that happens. The drip edge. We're looking at it now. Power of it. Very powerful microscope. Only the edge is a circular form. You can't quite fit it in the box. You're gonna try to stuff it in. Don't close the lid too hard. Because it'll spill out. Just go very slowly. Very slowly. And as you slowly wind down, it fits in the box. There's a rusted edge on the back side. You cut your hand there before. It's okay. You know where it is. Just keep holding on. All these surfaces you know so well. Because you've made the box. You've filed the edges. There are other months that feel like September. It doesn't really matter now, but you see them like all the menus scattered and strewn backseat of your car. The weather from those months added up somehow. You kept going. No rearview mirror.
You know, my grandpa, he was a trucker. Started at 15 for Yellow. Figured it'd be probably the only way he got to see all the places that he'd only heard of. His ma, she died at birth. Thought he'd find it out on his own, I guess. He'd say, sometimes you just gotta get away, son. Find some fresh air, a new road. What he never told me is even new roads feel traveled on. Even new air seems stale, like it's been breathed before. Even when you've escaped and everything is new, the beginnings you've found start to feel like endings. Later on in his life, he used to ride up the I-24, straight shot to Chicago. Same deliveries to Janus Center folks, ran the local butcher and a tiny corner store. Over the years, what he learned, many have learned before, it's not the people or the places, it's what you make of the paces back and forth. Because we're all bound to ramble. And rambling ain't so bad. If you remember to cherish all the things you never thought you'd have. I never grew up and learned how to drive. Those big rigs, they're scary. That was always his one point of pride. He drove for years without a single scratch on him. Instead, I did different and I hunkered down. Found a coffee shop in a downtown. With everything he taught me, it's true. I see it every day in all the faces. Some are miserable. Others have nothing but love on their side. I suppose in this new world, that's all anyone can ask. We spent too many months hoping this thing would pass. Now here we are with some light in the tunnel. But will we remember to make what we got with what we can? I sure hope something changes. Because for too long, it ain't.
Another smile escapes my face. Another feeling of chagrin passes across my inner crowd. Another destitute moment of life leaps from the clock of my mind. Sitting on the hood of my car, watching the world go by in staccato. My mind meandering an epidemic of lost morals throughout life's measly boundaries of existence. I pull the ripcords of minds only to find they do not open from years of wash and wear thinking. I make my leave within the leftovers of modern life, living and hoping for a solution to the enigma of man, and knowing full well I shall never find a realization of this dream. Pessimism is through the roof. The odds of smiling are sparse, and I am encompassed by that chagrin once more. I see the antisocial disease of ignorance stabbing mankind in the back, for I am a connoisseur of his maladjustments, a knower and hater of his perverse. I have found that whatever ill befalls him, man continues to scrimmage for his life. I feel empathy toward him, yet I must remain nonpartisan in the struggle to salvage what remains of humanity's moral benevolence. The regicidal radicals are no solution, for violence would beget but another Hastings, another Waterloo, another Gettysburg, another Auschwitz. There must be a more pacifistic manner in which to complete a transformation into wisdom. Man's sophistry will unquestionably bring about his demise. I implore him to open those eyes filled with sordid existence and take charge of his ending life so that he may see the truism of his ending doom. Such a truant must find himself in error before a cadaver. Remove yourself from your obsequious nature and find a mind that is fertile enough to fend for itself without the form of inexpedient government, or find yourself in this decaying state's necropolis.
Ba?
So, the day will become a small boat. We know we'll have to bail. No matter, never mind what's left to say. There's water and there's wind to cut it off, to carry it off, in any way. And so, when even the birds, on every road, and the hoot, lengthened by waiting, becomes space, a room of nothing much happened, swells and then the wave, back and back again, return, the time, each once dear phrase, every shift of light, and when we become and what we don't get to choose, come morning, when morning fills up with synonymous for rain and not touching and what troubles.
found God at the bottom of a coffee cup, filled with a story, brewed from the bellows of struggle, poured from the waterfall fingers of an out-of-luck waitress. I found God in those boxes, shoved underneath beds, like maybe down there, no one would stop them. So I pushed those trash can treasure chests to the edge of my sheets. Like sleep zone trips might drip down and be collected. Like God was something I could put away into perspective. Never an answer. Never a hope. Never a reflection. Bounced off of retinas glares gleaming in our neighbor's direction. Now only left with wars and church gossip and false prophets that keep guessing. It's within the hopes of others that we find lost blessing. Kind of like love lost without direction. Stumbling down streets of despair and doubt as though, well, love were just kind of unaware of its whereabouts. Excuse me, sir. My name is Love and you're busy, I understand. Excuse me, ma'am. My name is Love and I was just... you don't have the time. Excuse me. My name is Love. Excuse me. My name is Love. Excuse me. My name is Love. I've been looking for you. I found God between the lines, written on dirty pages with dull pencils before the sunrise, eking out another all-nighter. So this is for the writers of scriptures, painting pictures of actions absent of apathy. It's for living what you speak, giving what you seek, for the lost and for the meek, for the reachers holding on to the locked doors, finding God with skeleton keyholes of closed hearts and minds, finding God with empty pockets filled with fingers and time, and helpful hands holding on to hope left behind, looking inside and finding grace, looking inside and finding grace. So be encouraged and seek that unashamed nakedness, God speaking truth within your everyday engagements, conversations and arrangements, those pitted against you or forged with you. So let love lift you and give you venues to speak testimonies you've went through. Let your voice be grace's vehicle, in your heart a vibrant kaleidoscope to see through. So whether your lens is cracked or it's just a people, struggle to see that beautiful seashore. Rippling on your retinas like mountain peaks pecking neon skies. Live loud like wide open books. Don't forget to give forgiveness to your reflection. God lives within it.
Barefoot Copper Boy. You sit there on the pointed rock and drag your stick upon the ground. You walk through leaves of autumn's cast, your feet, they never make a sound. You throw your little balls of stone upon the dirt with all your friends. You practice with your tiny bow, for on your aim they will depend. You stand upon the stony bluff to make sure it is safe and clear. You'd run for miles without a breath to let them know there's dinner near. Your aim is true, the folks will eat. The deer you've slain has brought them joy. Now every eye is turned on you. They love the Barefoot Copper Boy. You wake up when it's barely light. The sun is in the eastern skies. You contemplate the day ahead, then from your skins you do arise, and greet the day with all you've got. You thank the sun for having come. You tell the earth good morning, then head back to where you started from. to wake the mother of your child so she can greet the world as well, and settle into morning chores. This is the day, and you can tell. Your son is now coming of age and ready now to take the tests you had to face when you were young and didn't have a moment's rest. It's off to manhood for your son. Today he'll go into the cave. He'll find his own way out, and then he will be the newest brave. Then as the day turns into night, you'll find the fires will run cold. The rabbit seems much faster now, because, Earth's friend, you're getting old. Still many moons will look at you and know you count on them to live, and they will show you mercy and send all the light that they can give, until the day you leave this plane and bring to afterlife your joy. You'll run the fields in countless time. You're still the Barefoot Copper Boy.
In this snow-brightened light on a near spring morning, I think of his glass, house not of birds, not with their loyalty, their steadfast devotion, migration. Try this. When my father left behind small, symmetrical holes drilled into the floor where bolts had kept his metal bookcases from toppling, he found a lakeside condo and a high-rise built by Mies van der Rohe. I never saw from inside that skin and bones minimalism, but even now I slow, fear to stare. Mouth, Mies van der Rohe. Until even that shimmer is out of sight. My father, the collector, knew something's worth by name, by legacy. Never mind that when he left, we'd only fill the holes of him practicing ugly things to say. Never mind, I'd take it all back if I could, though he'd never have heard a word. My deaf father, my back turned. Why this? Today? This thinking, how he must have lived before he stopped living. This thinking, I never once thought of him circling ads in a daily, the spread of his felt tip on newspaper, those lonely months searching for a single unencumbered space. Maybe it's this morning in this part of the city where he lived those last years without us, the snow I wake up to, this sudden knowing that when we leave for good, regardless the peril, regardless the light, regardless the view. Slow. S-L-O. Slow. 13. Thank you for listening.